Hey everybody, welcome back to Zennie 62, and thanks first of all for joining us for NFL Sunday. We'll be back with another show tomorrow. Can't wait, but right now also can't wait to talk to my longtime friend right here. Hey Maya, how you doing? Maya Hiersoux. You thought that was easy?
The other Daryl.
It was easy, did you? Ha 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 ha. See, it's a trick. It's a trick.
You had practice.
It's
That's
a trick.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Maya Hiersoux. I work at the Grub Company, and I'm bringing you today with real conversations with grit and grace. I'm bringing you the true Zennie with Zennie 62 Media. We're going to talk about things people don't always talk about.
Right, that's right. And for those of you who are wondering, this was originally supposed to be on her Zoom page, but we had some technical issues, and so I put on my
media hat.
My Dr. Smith is here.
It could have been this one, or it could have been this one.
That's right. I put on my Lost in Space hat, folks, and I went to work.
I'm just fabulous.
In fixing the Jupiter 2, and so here we are. The Jupiter 2 is in orbit, and Maya is actually going to take command here of the ship, since this is a show technically. So Maya, I'm delighted to be on your show. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
Fantastic, fantastic.
Well, I just really wanted to thank you for being my very first guest, because I figured it's time to have some real conversations, usually with a little bit of grit, a whole lot of grace. I'd love to learn something new today. So what can you teach me? Share a little bit about your life, and what is it most that Zennie is known for? Why don't we start there? What is Zennie 62 Media?
Zennie 62 Media is a real live Delaware company now that has been my media brand since 2010. And what Zennie 62 Media does is we have 100 blogs and 100 more, actually more than 100 more social media and other platforms that we use along with special algorithms to help you tell your story. Because very often and more often, people are having a very hard time getting out the news and telling their story, even in, I think, in more appropriately in terms of real estate too. There are people who are having a great deal of time getting out their story. So what we do is for a keyword that we mutually agree on, we cut through that and we make sure that your message dominates. So and we say who our client is. But hey, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with real estate in Oakland?
Well, real estate in Oakland is booming right now. We are at a super low point of our inventory. Affectionately, in the industry, we're saying that we are just tailing off on our spring market, and we're heading into our summer market, even though it's actually September 14th today. Because of COVID, everything was super delayed. However, we are holding strong right now. Everything is seeing appreciation, single digits, some areas double digits, some phenomenally well. There are some very specific zip codes in Oakland that are doing really, really well right now. However, for the most part, inventory is moving. We are experiencing people moving out of San Francisco and into Oakland. And then we also have people moving from Oakland and San Francisco to Sebastopol, Santa Rosa, and other places in California that nobody ever would have thought of because it was too long of a commute, shall we say.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I would say the one area that's experiencing probably the most impact right now might be West Oakland, because it used to be a 7-minute BART ride to the city, and that's not as important right now. However, I also look at it as a long-term opportunity, because if prices are going to either stay the same or stagnate a little bit there, then there will be an opportunity.
Moving out of West Oakland that are there?
Well, so West Oakland was really super hot in the condo industry. And because people don't necessarily need to travel to the city in 7 minutes right now, it's seeing a little bit of a lull, shall we say. But overall, the real estate market in our area and in most areas is super hot right now because unless you're buying, it doesn't make any difference to you, but the interest rate is super low. So we don't find that brings new buyers to the pool, but what it does do is actually accelerate the timelines of existing buyers, right?
Yeah.
Because the interest rates are historically low. I actually just refied my second home because it made so much sense. I saved $500 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I know. You
Hey,
know,
so I need some advice from you because my mom, she needs an additional mortgage, but she's 86. And she's also working for Zennie 62 Media. But would you believe the mortgage company would not count the income she makes from me? I was yeah. And then I read Rocket Mortgage. I'm calling them out because I wrote about it.
Oh, well, I wouldn't go through Rocket Mortgage. That's why.
Wait, Ma should hear this. Aha.
No, you don't want to go through Quicken Loans or you don't want to go through Rocket Mortgage.
Aha. Tell
At
us
least
why.
at least in our area, I would never tell my clients to use it. One, because it makes you less competitive. Now, for a refi, it's slightly different. However, I would definitely get you in touch with a private mortgage lender in your area.
Wow. Okay. What's the difference between, for my mom, a private mortgage lender and using Rocket Mortgage or Quicken Loans? This is great information.
Sometimes they are all ethical. However, they think a little bit more out of the box. And a lot of times because they are smaller private mortgage companies, they can actually loan on things that the bigger institutions won't lend on. Does that make sense?
It does. It almost sounds like a counterintuitive. You would think that because they're big.
Right. But not always. Sometimes they just can't get creative enough and they can't wrap their brains around very specific income situations.
That's exactly.
So that's why,
right.
So you need someone who's more creative.
Maya to the rescue. Yay. Man. Okay, I'm done now. I'm just kidding.
We haven't even talked about you, though.
Well, hey, look, you want to know about me? Me is right now helping my mom. So that's been, and that's just the reality of today. And I think with the pandemic, I still have my place in Adams Point. I miss Oakland dearly. I love my mom, who lived in Oakland with her now late husband. And I say this so hesitantly. She hates when I talk about it, but everyone's going through this in some kind of way. And I think when I came here, I came with the idea of helping her, but then the pandemic just made the idea of thinking of leaving for a period of time more difficult. And not that I couldn't, but it was just kind of like, it seemed like it was one thing after the other that I had to do. But most important among all of those things, aside from was establishing Zennie 62 Media, because I thought, well, look, I'm not getting younger, and I've done this for years, generally in conjunction with consulting or something else. Right. But I had enough material, online clients. I was already insured as a Zennie Abraham and Associates, and I had an idea of starting a company, Zennie, called Zennie 62 Media Incorporated, a few years ago. But a friend of mine, and that friend introduced me to a couple of lawyers I thought were on the up and up. We all met at the Battery in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
And what they did was they took my pitch deck, went back to Florida after saying that they would spend $22,000 to help establish Zennie 62 Media as a corporation. All right. And went back to Florida and then acted like they didn't know me. They ghosted me.
Oh.
And sent an email saying we can't do anything. They didn't say why. And I wrote back and said, look, but you have my pitch deck. It's marked confidential. And so I really didn't appreciate that. And I thought that they thought, oh, maybe we're just dealing with some black guy who doesn't know anything. We'll take his idea and forget it, So basically, I never thought of it. I never forgot that, and it fueled me. So what I did was I last year, found a way through something called Swift filings. You can use LegalZoom. But to make a long story short, I established Zennie 62 Media as a company.
Okay.
I got my certificate where it was accepted by the state of Delaware on the 30th of December of last year. We were officially incorporated.
Okay.
And then on the 19th of this year, June, we were given our certificate of good standing. Now, I established a business bank account, all of that. I have a fantastic insurance policy through the Hartford, who's been fantastic to work with.
Good.
So the whole point, you would say, what's the point of all this? I did it in reverse of what I did before. What I did, and I think a lot of people startups do this initially, especially when they're young, is they focus on the idea and building the idea. But my recommendation to anybody is you building the business, building your this because you have a child, but a corporation should be thought of also as a child. You're building another person because it's going to be taxed that way.
Right.
And if you're not careful, it could hurt you. Okay.
Right.
And you want to make sure that that child is protected, insurance. You want to make sure that child has his or her own bank account and everything else. And so because basically when you put money into it, you're, and I'm not saying that my business is my kid, but I guess I work on it enough to be that. But also, it's important because you want to leave something to kids you have. Mm-hmm. I don't have kids yet. One day I hope to have them.
It's a legacy, right, Zennie? It's a legacy.
It's a legacy. But the timing was beautiful because I established it. I just rerouted all of my client payments to the business, right? And then the pandemic hit, and then the PPP loan program, payroll protection loan program came. We have a model where basically the client's fees are paying or allow me to pay for content for vloggers.
Okay.
And the design is that with a smartphone anywhere in the world. In fact, Morgan Bach is one of our legacy bloggers, and she was in Gaza for protests, something called the Right of Protest. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know she was there.
Okay.
And on the 18th, 2018, May 2018, I believe May 18th, she posted a 1 minute and 45-second live stream from Gaza. That automatically became a blog post, which then went on to Google News and then Smart App and all over the place within seconds, right? And I thought, that's it. She got it. That's it. And the system worked. And I've been obsessed with it. Ultimately, what I want is you can make a video here. Your words automatically become text. The text is automatically posted as a blog.
Right. Which is super important.
Right. And so you don't have to edit it or anything. It auto edits itself. Right. Next thing you know, the news is out there. It's about speeding up the process of making news. But to get that algorithm to work was a bear. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I just forget that part of it and worry about what I just described to you before that with Morgan used was the pipeline, right? And the pipeline works. And so what I do is I pay anybody who makes a video anywhere, there also becomes a blog post and social media post all automatically. Right. Okay. So you could be anywhere, like in Oregon, if you go to oaklandnewsnow.com right now. In fact, I'll go and I'll show you an example. If you go to Oakland News Now, at the top of it right now are some examples of the vlogs that my vlogger colleagues have made. And they were, which I would love for you to be one of them, Oakland real estate, right? Yeah, it's like she's getting the hang of it, folks. But and so, at any rate, hey, this one of our Raiders SP is one of our loyal followers, by the way. He says, "Hey, Zennie," and so I'm saying, "Hey, how you doing?" Say hi to Maya.
Hi, Raiders SP 778.
Yeah. So here is right here, Oakland News Now, and so as you can see that those faces. Oh, yeah. Okay, right. That one at the top is Jessica Dwyer, and she's actually going to be talking about the Oregon wildfires. Listen to this. So she's unmute that.
Day 2 of this new hell pit that is Oregon.
And that's 7 minutes. So I won't play the whole thing for you. This is Hiersoux. He's actually running for mayor of Oakland. He's also one of our bloggers. He's talking about 9/11 and remembrances here.
Welcome back, everybody. Hiersoux, your 2022 Oakland mayoral candidate. Today is 9/11, September 11th, 19 years ago.
See, and then there's me talking about Allegiant Stadium here earlier today, where I was giving out some news about that. And ultimately,
hey everybody, the Las Vegas Stadium Authority has released what is the most dramatic evidence yet.
Yeah, and so when you scroll down the blog, all right, there's news. I've got to straighten out this. What I did, this Derek Carvit part here, I have to change it so that his face shows up. But what I also do is I can go to YouTube. I can like something like Derek Carr's video, and it automatically becomes a blog post. So in seconds, I can populate this
nice.
new material. Yeah, with new material. And you scroll down, it says, from YouTube channel. It's obvious it's from Derek Carr. What I have to do basically is go back. It only takes a second to do. I'm not going to do it now, but then make a few second adjustments so that his photograph the photograph that you see here shows up here and therefore shows up on the front page. All right.
Okay.
And so this is just what this is Derek Carr right here doing his car. He calls it car talk. Right. And,
what's up, everybody?
Right. And so he's not affiliated with me, but it's basically what I've done here.
What's up, everybody?
Is I've taken
just going ahead and
I've taken the concept of social media. He's the radio, and where you would go to a news site and like it or share it onto Facebook, right?
Right.
Okay. I've turned that inside out. What you're doing here is you're going to YouTube, you're liking something, and it puts on the blog post. And so something that may be seen right. So something
you're out of that because you see 14,000 ads a day, and so if you see something that you like it, and then it automatically feeds to this.
Right, and it becomes because the reason I did that. There's a MJ. She's making that's why I have to put the make that fix. That's a little technical thing that comes up. There's mine. There's this is by one of our bloggers, Mason Riggs. This is a standard blog post by our blogger in London, David Squires, who's a Falcons fan. I did that last night. I did this just sitting at the table critiquing a Twitter post I saw. It's only a few seconds. You can see it becomes a blog post. Raiderettes was done by another blogger, Joseph Amandurz in Los Angeles. Nikki Rainey is our longtime vlogger going back to 2010. She's rejoined us. That's one of her pieces, her video blogs, and this is a classic one on the TV show on Netflix called Cuties. I've never watched it, but as you can see here, it's the same dynamic where a person will come down. She's giving her review. That's the photograph, right? But if you click on this, you actually find, and we note that it's
Hello, everybody. It's Nikki Rainey with Zennie 62 Media. I just finished watching the controversial foreign film that came out in France last month.
See how that works? And that's our network. And the reason why I did it this way is because I noticed a long time ago, first of all, it was available technology. And the reason I did it that way, Raiders SP says, hi, Maya. And he says, just do all the smoke out here in Cali, which is what I'm going to ask you about. He says,
oh my God. I looked at the, just to digress to the very first news article vlog that you had. Portland has 415 as their air quality today. We're at like 200. Anyway.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, no,
we're safe out here. Our air quality is not too bad. So I don't know where.
She's in Eugene.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in Eugene. Yeah, so anyway, that's one of our blogs. That's the main one. I have another one. I actually have a whole network of Zennie 62 blogs that I referred to, 100 in total, but the main ones are here. We also have special spaces for people who want to post their own blogs, or they'll send a press release to me, and I'll post it under their name, which is their name or account name here. But if I go to Zennie 62 Media Network here, this opens up and it announces, you can't see that from here, but let me recall the page like that. Voila. As I scroll down here like that, it's the Zennie 62 Media Network. You see all of our Oakland News Now.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring you on this show immediately, because I had started a private Facebook group for my friends and clients in the East Bay. And it was funny because I had never had to curate so much content before. And then literally I'd be like, oh, there's Zennie again. Oh, there's Zennie again. Oh, there's Zennie. Oh, okay. Here's Zennie. Let me link to Zennie. I was like, you need to call him and just have him on your show, because this is like, just when I was like, who should I have on? It would be like, Zennie pops up. I'm like, I guess it's Zennie.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job. You're everywhere.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's what I'm doing with this company, is trying to transfer from the me to the we. So also, if you're out there in your real estate, hey, I'm looking for clients and partners, and love to have you. I think it would be quite perfect to have a real estate organization, well, individuals, and we can, as I say, do a deal, as I'm fond of saying. Right. You know, right. Absolutely. Hey, so how did you get involved in real estate, by the way? And also, I have to ask you a candid question about all this. Are more people moving out than in? Because I hear I'm leaving. I see these memes about people leaving. What is the real situation?
I think we do have a lot more moving out than we do moving in right now.
Wow.
And that's because now that we are not geographically tied to our workplaces, we're seeing a migration either back to family or to where it's more affordable. So we're seeing a huge migration right now. It depends on the age categories. However, so if it's the younger population, they're moving to tech centers, Tennessee. Well, they were moving to Oregon. Not right now. We have a different population. Maybe the empty nesters are now moving to Idaho, Montana, north. Very woodsy. It tends to be more woodsy than it does a major metropolitan area, at least when the people I'm talking to. Wow. But a lot of families moving to the suburbs in like Nashville or Texas. People are definitely taking into consideration the state income tax. So Nevada's a huge state. Florida's a huge state. Certainly not California. So yeah, I honestly, for right now, I do think part of it is a knee-jerk reaction. And I say this with all reverence, but when 9/11 happened, people were like, we're not living in the city. We're not living in a high rise. We're never going to do it. And then it wasn't too long before they were living in high rises again. Mm-hmm. So, you know, California is a very beautiful place, and it's a very expensive place. So you really have to want to be here, and you have to be in the right location when you are going to be here. You need to make sure it fits all the boxes. So we do have, interestingly enough, we do have people still moving into San Francisco. Quite a fair amount, actually. So there is a movement kind of all around, because as you said in the very beginning of our call, COVID is really having people really reassess what's truly important to them, where they want to be, how they want to be. You didn't ask this question, but even the structure of the houses is changing. We now have officially Zoom rooms.
Zoom rooms.
Zoom rooms. It's officially hit our marketing language now.
Wait. Is this can this be considered a Zoom room?
That is a Zoom room.
This is not Absolutely. My bedroom. This is in the home. The bedroom is there. This is the second floor of our place. Yep. So, yeah, we got a lot of place. Huh.
So
what are the requirements of a Zoom room? I didn't know that.
Just high-speed internet. That's really it. And a chair.
Wow.
Yeah. It's usually just a desk somewhere. However, it's like an alcove. It's like so for example, let's say you have a second stair landing and it's really big. Maybe you can fit a table there for extra office space. That one that's without an earshot of another small child or a spouse on the phone with somebody in a business meeting. So, yeah, COVID is definitely making us rethink our indoor-outdoor space, level in our auxiliary dwelling units, our in-law quarters or whatever. Like, are your parents going to be needing help? Should they be in the house? Should they be outside of the house? Because who wants to stick them in a rest home right now when you can't go visit them?
No, you don't want that at all. No, that
So
would
we're
drive me nuts.
thinking all of these things right now. And I do think we're going to start to see houses with like 2 primary ensuites, if that makes sense. I don't know if you can have 2 because that takes the meaning out of primary.
Well, we have a barn. Are you saying we should convert the barn?
Totally. Yeah.
We never use it.
Modern industrial barn chic look. Totally. HTV could totally do it for you. Absolutely. Yeah. And give it with a cat. Everyone will love it.
Because we're 50 miles outside of Atlanta. We're not in Atlanta at all.
Okay.
We're closer. We are 15 minutes from Pinewood Studios, where the Marvel movies were made, the Avengers.
Oh,
tried out to be in the cast of Ant-Man. One of 3,000 people didn't make it. It was fun. It was just fun to go through it. It was just fun to say I did it. I made some videos about it on Zennie 62. All you have to do is type Ant-Man casting call. You can see.
Nice.
Ridiculous.
The closest I ever came was when they were filming the Hulk in San Francisco.
I remember that.
Stockton.
Yeah.
I had to run down. Actually, it was when I was interviewing. I basically was like, tell him, I'm like, they're not filming right now. Tell him I need 20 seconds to get down that hill. I literally ran from Stockton and Green all the way down the hill in like 20 seconds with my heels in my hand and my interviewing outfit on.
That was part of the movie?
No, but I could tell you where they filmed it. They actually had spray painted. There was supposed to be an explosion there. And so the spray paint was actually on the intersection for years after that. It was pretty neat, actually.
Is that in the hills by North Beach?
Yep, on Telegraph Hill.
I know exactly what that scene was. That was the Hulk. Bruce Banner, as the Hulk, had...
I think he picked up a car and he had to throw it down.
I'll tell you exactly what happened because I know that movie like the back of my hand. In fact, I covered Comic-Con for last 10 years in San Diego. The launch party for my company, Sports Business Simulations, we had it. I got tickets for everybody to watch the Hulk at the Grand Lake.
Oh, nice!
Yeah, and then I took everybody to the alley afterward on Grand.
Nice.
Anyway, that scene you're talking about, I know because in the movie, Bruce Banner, the Hulk, had somehow he had escaped from
you're right,
facility in Nevada that was also designed. It was a underground holding company, a test facility designed for the Hulk.
Right.
And he broke out of it, and he quite literally did these giant leaps, like thousands of miles, not thousands of miles, but hundreds of miles, but leaps. And he started leaping, and he eventually wound up looking for Betty Ross. He found out he was underground dug through San Francisco, and then he emerged at the top.
Okay.
Hill of Stockton, and where that meets, I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's mad because he's the Hulk, right?
Yeah. Okay.
He comes out and he just goes, and it's like he's trying to rub the stuff out of his eyes, the dirt, and takes his 2 fists and he bangs them on the pavement, and the whole thing, boom, and all these cars go rolling and all that stuff. Yeah. So there's your scene. That's
exactly
right. Yep. I think I actually have that. The Hulk in San Francisco. There might be,
but it was fun.
somewhere around there, you were right in.
I even remember my interviewing outfit. It was a dark midnight blue button-down J. Crew shirt with my black suit, and I interviewed at 50 Fremont. I have no idea what position it was for, but I remember that part. And actually, this is really funny. I do remember it. Actually, I'll leave that part of it. I'll tell you later.
Oh. Is it that kind of thing?
It's a bit funny. I don't think I want it on this show, though. Anyway.
Uh-oh, okay. But I think this is what this might kind of everybody might remember that. See?
Yeah.
That's the
that was the intersection. That's where they had spray painted this big green and brown thing in the middle of the street, and it was there for years.
Yeah, and that's the and this is the scene where see, it comes out.
Yep.
Like there you go. Yep. See that? And all that. Crashes. And eventually, he kind of, I think, right here. Does that look familiar?
Yeah, because I was up on the right where the big brown blob was. I had to come down the hill that way. It was pretty funny.
Oh, wow. So there he is.
I basically didn't give him an option. I was like, I have an interview in 20 minutes. I am running down that hill. So you need to give me 30 seconds. And I'm doing it now.
You have to run down this hill?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, so he goes to grab something. And it's like, hey, wait a minute. I know her. So anyway.
Yep. That's funny.
So anyway, so there's your scene. Thanks to the magic of StreamYard.
Thank you, StreamYard. Thank you since Zoom and Facebook Live failed me, which it worked on the test. Oh, well, you know what? You just got to roll with life sometimes.
Yeah, I found StreamYard thanks to our vlogger, Mason Riggs. He was using it and turned me on to it. And it's been a staple.
Someone did tell me about StreamYard, but I was like, I'm going to try Zoom first because most people know how to use Zoom, and I don't want to add too many different things of technology, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to be doing it. So I'm going to try. You know, this was me getting out of my comfort zone, Zennie, so I did it.
Yeah, hey, I caution everybody. I say, you know what, check out, because there's Zoom, there's Juju, there are a lot of, there's what Microsoft has their program, Google has another one.
Right.
I want to check out. I think YouTube should have one that's specially designed for YouTube myself.
Yeah.
You know, but check them all out, folks. Don't get married to Zoom because it's clunky. But, you know, hey, look, it's like the Democratic Party was using it for their live streams. Zennie 62 Media was credentialed media for the third time.
Yay!
2008, 2012. 2020. We missed 2016 because they were mad at me.
Yeah.
Figure. Anyway, for stupid reasons that I'm just guessing, but whatever. They made up for it this time. Yes. And I want to thank the House of Representatives press secretary really helped out.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was, really was. Hey, so also back to Oakland real estate. My question: what? For a person who quite literally uses his contacts and his vloggers as his eyes around Oakland, what is the mood like?
Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's hard to tell because I don't get out a whole ton. You know, we're not even going to school right now. And so I literally will go to very specific houses that I need to preview for my clients. And it's not necessarily taking me downtown. That's the honest answer.
Interesting. It sounds like, though, you are in the middle of helping people transition their lives.
Right.
You know, that's really what it sounds like. It sounds like.
Oh, I am. It's a huge step in their lives. They're either stepping into something completely new. They either need to. Like a lot of my clients right now had just purchased their first starter condo, and now they're like, we're having a baby. So guess what? And I'm like, all right, let's do something about it.
Yeah.
So I would say the mood is, I'm going to say nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little anxiety. Anxiety is not the right word, but there's definitely, it's not calm. It's not calm. Even though it's still, there's just like an anxiousness That's kind of maybe a better word. It's not total anxiety, but there's an anxiousness, and we're on edge. We're a little on edge, and deservedly so. We've got fires. We can't go outside right now because the air quality is so bad. No. Zennie, last Thursday it was at 242, I think it was.
Hey, so for those who don't really know how that works, tell them how that works. The range. Because I admittedly don't.
We have healthy, which most major metropolitan areas are like 35, 40.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you start getting into double digits, it's bad. And it's not so bad for me as it is for someone who has asthma or who has lung problems or any pre-existing conditions, because the air is just not healthy out there. It's like likening it to Beijing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We have a permanent haze. I mean, no exaggeration. Last Wednesday, the sky was yellow. It looked like it had jaundice. We woke up. No, Zennie, it was the craziest thing. First of all, no one has ever seen anything like that here. I mean, everyone I talked to, it didn't matter what age category, especially older than myself, had never seen anything like this. The sky was literally yellow in the morning. At 10:30 in the morning, it felt like I was in, and I've never been to Alaska in the wintertime, but I imagine that's what Alaska in the wintertime feels like, dark. It was dark. And then later in the day, the sun comes up, only you can't really see it, and it turns into this big red ball. So not only do we have COVID happening, but we're not able to go outside. It just doesn't make it any better.
My God.
It's like one ordeal on top of another. And I'm not even going to say what the third one could be because we don't know when it's going to happen. That would just be the icing on the cake right about now.
What would the third one be?
Earthquake.
Oh, no. No.
Almost every area in the Bay has been on evacuation notice. So not only do we have, this is not probably the best PSA for California right now. Mm-hmm. We have rolling blackouts because if the high winds kick in, PG&E, who got in trouble for burning down Paradise up north.
Right.
They're doing rolling blackouts. And so not only are you having to deal with bad air quality, COVID, you can't go out. And then we have, they don't tell us when they happen, or if they do, they don't give us much warning. And some people, unfortunately, are either out 12 hours or 36. I mean, we don't have a big freezer, but man, you don't want any of that going bad. So it just makes it an extra challenge.
Mm-hmm. I happen to see this. I'd love to have your comment on it. It's by Oakland housing market prices. And it looks like, surprisingly, things are, hey, they're as bad as people say, huh? Take a look at this. This is from, see, this is now, this graph goes from 2018 to 2020. Yep. But look at 2020, look at that uptick. Look at that. That was before the pandemic. Look at that. It says median sale price $847,500, up 12.8% year over year.
Yep.
364 homes sold, 10.3 year over year. I don't know what that means. 16 median days on the market. Maybe you can help me with these numbers. You're in the business. What do these numbers mean?
So the median days on the market is how long it takes to actually sell. So the minute somebody actually puts it on the MLS and it gets sent to Redfin or Zillow or our local multiple listing service, our MLS, it only takes 16 days to sell. So in a lot of other markets, I don't know what Atlanta is, it's typical for it to be 30 days. 16 is actually a little high. And I would say for us, that's high because of COVID. Mm-hmm. Typically, we've been around 12 to 14 days. So this is actually a little high. Number of homes sold, 10.3% over year. I mean, look how high our median price is now, $847.
Wow.
It used to be like 500.
Yeah.
Woo. And that's because some areas are seeing like 23% market share increase. Like Crocker Highlands right now is on fire. We're talking 22 offers. Yeah.
It's competitive. Hey, so wow. But the bottom line is that it's active. I mean, it's not.
Oh no, it's active. It's definitely active, and it's going to stay active until the election. It's going to stay active until the election, and then it's going to dip a little. It always dips for the holiday season. So once the election hits, and then Christmas and the holidays, and then depending on our weather system, what we're experiencing in January will determine when our spring market starts. We need at least 3 weeks. It usually doesn't pick up until the second or third week in January. And then if the second or week in January, we've had weeks with less than 1 day of rain per week, we can get roofs done. We can get painting done, exterior painting and landscaping. 2 years ago, our weather system was such that it literally rained once a week through April. It was crazy. We had to delay a lot of the houses coming to the market because people just couldn't do exterior work. It was bananas.
Wow.
So no, Oakland is really, really strong. And I honestly, from all of the networks that I'm a part of, I'm part of a elite coaching organization, and everyone right now is slammed. I mean, Tahoe is even more slammed than us. People are flocking to Tahoe right now.
Really?
Oh yeah. If you don't have a cash offer, it's almost like it was here 4 years ago. If you didn't have a cash offer, you're not going to win.
Wow.
No, yeah.
Why the change? Why?
Because people don't have to work next to Facebook, Apple, wherever. That's what it is now.
And they're in tech, and they
don't know, Zennie. They don't know that in Truckee they get 15 feet of snow. You're going to be shoveling, whether you have a garage or not. And you know what? It takes one bad winter for people to go.
Yep. Out of here. Yep.
Because that is not shoveling is for the not for the faint of heart. I got to tell you, I've done it for years. So,
not fun.
No.
Not at all.
Nothing.
Hey, I know. Go ahead. Sorry.
But I wanted to. Do you have other questions about the housing market?
Oh yes, I do, and I also want to say I know that we've been on for 42 minutes and 35 seconds, and I want to have you back, and I'd love to have you as a vlogger so you can make your own videos and promote your homes. Perfect. And the other question that I have is, well, I'm an apartment renter, and here it's different. I'm helping Mom with this home, and she's got me on the all that stuff, but it looks like apartment rents are coming down.
They are.
And I was like, whoa, look at these. I don't need to renegotiate what I've got. I've got a good deal.
There you go.
But if you're in a position where you do, what do you suggest? That person hop on it and say, hey, look, renegotiate my lease? And what if they saw?
I would, and this is from personal experience. It's not from today. And I'm older than I look. This was during one of the .com busts. I can't remember which one it was. Let me think about this. 2000 maybe? Mm-hmm. I was living in the city.
You're only, 35? Yeah.
Exactly. I'm only 35. I was living in the city. I had a junior 1-bedroom apartment. And I started looking at the rents around, and I basically went to my landlord and said, listen, I don't really want to move. However, I can rent a much bigger place for the same exact dollar amount right now. Are you willing to do anything about it? And you know what? He knocked like $200 off. I was happy. I'm like, cha-ching, done. Yeah. And you know what? That was a while ago. However, it never hurt. This is one sage piece of advice my mom always gave me. You don't know unless you ask. Ask. Right?
Say that one more time.
My mom told me you just don't know unless you ask. So always, always ask. Mm-hmm. And say please and be nice about it. And you'd be surprised what you'll get. And I ended up staying in that apartment for another 2 years, actually. And he was a great landlord. He didn't want me to leave either. I was like, I really don't want to pack up my stuff and go. However, I'm looking and I can get more square footage in a better location. So let's work together. And he's like, okay.
Hey,
so yeah, I would ask if you feel compelled and you have a good relationship with your landlord. Now, also be prepared. Now, I live in a market where they can't evict you right now. Probably not for a really long time. And even when they can't evict you, they still can't evict you. So, you know, karma, just keep in mind karma. Treat others to be treated, right?
That's right. I recommend have your rent paid and then some. I'm ahead of the game.
Exactly. So you know what?
That's the last thing I have to worry about. I want to worry about my mom, you know? So
right.
I got that.
So you take that into consideration, and if it seems like something feasible, do it. That's my advice.
That's awesome advice. Also, how do they reach you if they want to buy a house in Oakland or Berkeley, or what areas do you cover?
Okay, so I do cover all of the East Bay. I specialize primarily in Berkeley, Oakland, and Piedmont. However, I branch out as far as Hayward, the outer East Bay, which would be Concord, Walnut Creek, Orinda, Moraga, and I go up as far north as Crockett, which is the bridge right before the Vallejo, right?
Right.
So I've done all that, and I do it for very specific clients. However, if you want to get in touch with me, it's my name, which is Maya, M-A-Y-A, Hiersoux. Pretend like you're calling a girl named Sue, and we're going to stick a bunch of crazy letters in there. It's Hiersoux. And you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. It's just my name. And actually, if you find another Hiersoux, if like you can actually spell that name, we're all related. They should know me.
Yes.
So anyway, that's how to get a hold of me. And I can give you my phone number just in case. It's 415-971-3559. I'd be happy to help you in any way, shape, or form. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
May I repeat that?
Repeat what?
Your phone number that you want.
I always leave it twice on a voicemail. That's funny, Zennie. My number is 415-971-3559. Now let's turn the table back to you in case people either want to be a vlogger for you, right? Or want to get in touch with you. What do they need to do?
Clients. Well, as I explain that to you, I'm making sure that I type your information here. And so that when I press the chat and when I press the show, there it is.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you all know how you want to reach me. I am at Zennie62media.com, and just send an email there. Clients, potential clients, everybody.
Right now, they totally hot off the presses, Zennie.
Yeah,
that was good.
I'll pick it up later, but they will leave a message, and yeah, the phone is ringing. That's something else, but I will definitely make absolutely certain that we have you back and that you are set up to do your automatic news, as I call it. Automatic.
Excellent.
I just came up with that. Automatic news. Yeah. Maya, stick around backstage. Don't go anywhere.
Wait, I want to ask you 2 questions really quickly. Can I ask you 2 questions?
Absolutely.
They're absolutely fun. What is it that you're so passionate about right now?
My company and my mom being happy and well, and she wants to see me married, be a dad, and a husband.
There we go.
And no, I love to see that too. Just the right, I mean, it's not even anything I have to qualify. That's something I've definitely wanted. It's just, things don't happen the way you want them to happen, and then time catches up and circumstances change. You turn around and say, hey, yeah, you got to help your folks.
Right.
And that's, but
Family
I am
first.
also extremely obsessed with building this company.
Okay.
And because we're in a position to help a lot of people, I like doing it. I mean, this is part of it. This
I
isn't
can
this.
tell. I can tell. Every time I talk to you, it's fabulous. It's super
Thanks.
fabulous.
And this is like what we're doing right now is part of what we do, and it's making content. It's making news because news is different.
Yep.
The reason why I do the YouTube method, as I showed, is because if you go to a concert or place else, people are holding up these smartphones and they're using them to do what? Make videos
Right.
of where they are. It doesn't make sense for one publication to try to compete with thousands of people holding up their smartphones.
Right.
So the material's already there. You might as well just go and put it on your publication so that other people can see the most interesting stuff that they don't have time to look for or know is there. And then also that most interesting thing may only get maybe a view or two, right?
Right.
But when it's how this happened several months ago with a video I found, and it was by a woman with the California College of Arts.
Yes.
And she made a song, and I didn't know that she was known by so many people who happen to be connected with me and in my network, and that's a lot of Oakland. Next thing I know, people are like, hey, it's and they're passing it on. It got passed on 120 times. Who knew, right? I didn't, but for the fact I had done that, her video would still be seen by maybe 5 people at the most.
Right. It helps everyone. It's a win-win for everybody.
Right. So it changes. And again, the media, the content is already out there, but the traditional media doesn't understand how to deal with this. And I do.
And that's why we have your company and your solution.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Absolutely. Okay, one last funny question. Do you eat ice cream?
I eat double fudge chocolate ice cream with hot fudge. Hot fudge major. With the best version of what I am telling you I had at Sam's. You know what Sam's is in Tiburon?
Yes, absolutely.
We got to go there. Sam's.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Sam's.
All right, we will go. Next time you are here in the Bay, we will go to Sam's and have ice cream.
Closed?
Lots of fudge.
You know, Guayma's right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's closed. It's gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw a friend of mine went up there, Robin and her husband Tommy, and they put a photograph on Facebook, and
oh no, that was an institution.
Oh, they had the best moulet. That was just it was just incredible. And I used to try to make that at home. I would make chicken or salmon with moulet over it, and I got that entire idea from the movie Like Water for Chocolate.
Yes, I love that.
That's right. And I'm getting just hungry again.
Awesome.
But,
okay, well, I probably have to go too. Well, thank you for coming on to Real Conversations with Grace and Grit, hosted by Maya Hiersoux. Thank you, Zennie, for being my very first guest, my grand premiere. Thank you.
Got it.
Because I truly think of you as Mr. Oakland, just so you know.
I appreciate it. Stick around in the background. Hey, we'll be back later, folks. Hey, thanks for
Bye.
Yeah. And